Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a new kind of development within this whole tracker website thing, which we've been talking about over the past week or so, which has blown up pretty massively in VTuber Twitter. As if you guys don't know, or you haven't seen my previous videos, I definitely recommend going back and watching them because, again, it does give you a full kind of look at what has actually gone on. But essentially, we covered a weird website where essentially it was tracking VTubers' ovulation cycles or whatever, which again, I think was absolutely crazy, and it's yeah, weird, right? And there was a very big mixed reaction from VTubers themselves. Some people finding it funny, some people finding it weird, some people finding it a mix of both. And it was a very, I guess, controversial topic in a sense, because yeah, there wasn't really one like genuine answer. But I think the kind of main point that has been put across is that it was very, very weird, and there is likely some kind of ulterior motives going on as to why this person has made this website. And it seems like some people have been calling some stuff out in regards to one VTuber that's featured on this list who isn't around anymore, which is Gawr Gura. And we, if you don't know, obviously Hololive member ended up graduating, and now we know that they've obviously gone on to go indie Saba, but they are now gone, and it seems like some people have been finding the pages on her on this website, and it just gets very, very weird whenever you look at the description, because before, a lot of the time, people were essentially bringing up Twitter posts and things as proof that they, it was that time of the month or whatever. But again, it was a Twitter post saying like they had a stomachache and stuff, and many VTubers have actually been making fun of that by saying like, oh, I got a stomachache today, and obviously, they probably don't or whatever, but they're just trying to trick the system essentially, because that is what it essentially goes off of. But this one was really, really weird because they provided a bigger kind of summary and I guess description of exactly why they believed that this was going on. This is the summary that they give, right? They say, so here's a YouTube link. They say, this is the moment the Gura felt her menstruation coming out. You can see her looking down to check her crotch. Like, brother, like, are we serious here? Are we serious? Like, she looks down on stream. Like, it could be anything, you know? Sometimes, you drop something, you look down. Like, it's crazy, right? They're saying, here's another YouTube link. They say, here she says, I might need to, then pauses, and her pupils show that she's rapidly looking at random directions instead of at the listener. This indicates embarrassment and that her brain is trying to come up with a false excuse to leave. Like, what? Like, what? What is this? And then obviously they put in another link here saying she needs to, here she says she needs to pee in a monotone way. That indicates she wasn't sure about her choice of words. Like, I feel like this person like thinks they're some kind of like psychology expert or something. They say another sign that it's just an excuse. They say, here's another link as well. They say here, Gura uses I should probably instead of I have to. This means that there's no real urgency in her necessity, unlike someone who really needs to pee. Like, are we serious here? They say after that, she leaves for about 1 to 45 minutes. Females, like, oh my god, bro. Like, even the way that they word this, females can actually urinate faster than males, okay? Even with a full bladder, they should be able to take about 20 seconds to finish and 15 seconds to wipe. Okay, great. They say the whole process should not take much more than 60 seconds considering a toilet is very close. Like, how do they know this? How do they know? Like, bro, what the, like, it's so weird. They say because she felt the necessity, to avoid any possible noises with the loud technical issue screen on top of the muting the audio. 1 minute 45 would be too much time. That way we can assume that she spent 30 more seconds to open and put a pad on, right? It's just like, I don't know. It's just weird, right? And I think a lot of the people were like taking it as a hilarious joke, but this is whenever you start to see how weird and creepy it gets from some people that really overanalyze small situations, right? Just because someone spends 1 minute 45 in the toilet doesn't necessarily mean that they are, doing whatever they think they are doing, right? And there's a lot of different things that, could be the case. I've got so many different possibilities in my mind that could have happened during that 1 minute 45 seconds, right? Like, especially if I think, like, me personally, if I was to go to the toilet or whatever, and, maybe, I wanted to wash my hands or something, maybe I wanted like a good kind of, washing up my hands. That takes a little bit more time. Maybe, I see my cat along the way. I pet the cat for a little bit and then I come back to stream, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that they're necessarily putting a pad on or whatever, which I think is absolutely crazy. And some people, they need some help, right? This person needs help. Like this isn't okay. This isn't good behavior. This isn't the hilarious behavior that some people obviously were bringing up to do with this website. It is now just creepy. This is now just weird, especially like considering stuff like her room size and things like that. It's so weird. People saying, I believe in consent and think VTubers should be able to opt out. Heck, it should be an opt-in system. This analysis, I am beyond disgusted, amused, and impressed, right? And they're saying, the guy who made this could have literally done anything else in his life than think about that. They say, I can't tell whether this is just autism, obsession, or both. They say this is unhealthy and an invasion of privacy, which is 100% true. They say, but it's not illegal. Some stupid ass men. I wish men bled out their asses every 3 weeks. Which again, I don't think it's necessarily just a a man thing. Obviously, yes, I'm sure like a lot of the people on this website are men, the ones that are actually contributing to it. But again, I don't think a lot of men are arguing, saying that it's not illegal, or whatever. Maybe some of the weirdos that are on the site, sure. But I think most men are like, okay, this is weird, right? Like, I don't think anybody wants to be tracked for whatever reason it is, right? People say, some people bringing up should eat an apple, which is crazy. People say obsession. Seems like they had the conclusion in their mind, and then they tried to find something to fit, which, yeah, it definitely seems like that was the case, right? They essentially wanted to come up with their own narrative with it, and then found little small movements or whatever that they could essentially make up a story about Gawr Gura. And it is just very odd, right? And I think, these people, this shouldn't be something that was praised. Obviously, I know, it's very heavily, laughed at or whatever over on Twitter, and some people found it funny, but it does just get to the point where, you're being a creep and where you're being a weirdo, right? They say that's some actual schizo post, not comedy. Usually if you make an absurd post, you add emojis or go some insane tangent, usually about being pregnant by other holomems, and you even forget what you're talking about in the first place. They said, I'm assuming this is from Moe, which obviously is the site that was up. They say, thanks, I want to vomit now, which is true. They say, what the hell? Interesting analysis, but much of it can be razored away with a such simpler explanation of Gura just inherently being awkward at times, which, obviously is true, right? Some people are awkward, and that is just the fact, right? Some people are awkward. Some people take their time with stuff. Some people don't take 20 seconds to go to the toilet, right? And I think that is something that a lot of people just don't, see. And, you shouldn't even be thinking about this kind of stuff in the first place. You shouldn't be worried about, why did she take 1 minute and 45 seconds to be away, right? Chat's fine. They're not going to care about this, right? People saying 60 seconds max to pee, bro. What? I'm a dude. It takes me less than 2 minutes. No, it takes me like 2 minutes most of the time. Now I sit down, wash my hands, which I assume this type of person couldn't even understand. Which again, some people are like, hey, maybe not 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a bit long, but some people take different times. I think that is the main point, right? It is a very varied thing, per person. I can't even believe I'm talking about this, right? So again, I think a lot of people are saying that as well. We're saying it's just a tiny group of weirdos that are getting attention they crave by people looking at them. Ignore them and let them go back to their strange little holes. They see, here's the thing. If you let them, let them be. The idea that will just spread is that they're doing something okay. It's not. It's harmful. They're sure, but it won't stop them, and this will probably spread it more, which I guess is true. But again, I do think this kind of stuff needs to be called out, right? Because these people are weirdos, and I think they have had a lot of praise, through Twitter and things lately, that I think a lot of people need to see posts like this and see that, hey, this isn't just some joke that, some people are just like, haha, it's okay. There's nothing written, it's not really a big deal. That's not the case, right? It's like some unhinged weirdos that are, analyzing every single move of a VTuber to track whether they are ovulating or not, which I think is insane, right? I think it's insane. It's creepy behavior, and it definitely needs to stop, because again, as I said, it's been very, very mixed. It's been very, very joked about, but also a lot of people disgusted. And I think posts like this obviously show you how disgusting some of this website is. And I mean, it is pretty terrible to see, right? But yeah, that's essentially all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I don't even know how you could enjoy it after reading that, but I hope you're okay after that whole reading session. But yeah, as I said, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.